everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Grace. So it's finally August, which means it's sort of back to school season. And I know that's probably the last thing everyone wants to hear, but today I came up with 6 helpful tips for everyone that's starting high school. Also, because I'm basic, I'm going to be doing a get ready with me, so let's go. Now, just a disclaimer, I'm not a beauty guru, I'm not good at makeup. I just put it on so I look less ugly, thank you. So I'm gonna be starting with a primer. It's just the basic Sephora primer. So I am now graduated from high school, which means I survived 4 years of some of the worst times of my life so far. So these are just things that I wish I would have known when I went into high school. I'm gonna start by going in with my green color corrector because I have so many breakouts now that I don't know where they're coming from. Wow, I look crazy. So before we start actually going into the tips, I want to let you guys know that I've been to 2 different high schools. I spent my first 2 years in just a public school in Wisconsin, and then my last 2 years of high school, I was actually an international student and I went to Qatar with my mom. So I finished up my schooling in the Middle East. So as I go in with my Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer, I'm going to introduce tip number 1, which is don't be afraid. I think one of the most important lessons I've learned in my life so far is to not view life as a totem pole. I understand that there's the idea of, you know, rising up in the world, being the best, and that's great, that's good for motivation and competition. But when we're talking about a social situation, when you're in a classroom with 20 other people who've had almost the exact same experiences you have to date, like, no one in that situation is superior. You're equals, and it sounds so simple, but a lot of times I thought if I went up to a certain group of girls in high school, they would be mean to me, they would give me a weird look, they would talk about me behind my back. And half of that stuff was just made up in my mind. I was creating those social barriers to keep me from interacting with new and different people that I didn't already know. So don't fall into that trap. You can talk to whoever you want. The idea that you can't talk to everyone is absurd and insane. Next, I'm gonna be doing my brows with the e.l.f. brow pencil. Tip number 2 is don't procrastinate. This is some of the most hypocritical advice I'm gonna give you, and it's that type of advice where everyone's gonna tell you, but you're not probably gonna listen. So let me try to convince you. You guys obviously know why procrastination is bad. You don't need a lecture on this, but let me remind you that all of the habits you make in high school are gonna be things that you carry on throughout the rest of your life. As dramatic as that sounds, if you don't get on top of it now, it's gonna be really hard to develop this habit in the future. So if you don't wanna stop procrastinating just for the sake of being a good student, do it for your future self, so it's a lot easier when you take AP classes and final exams and college courses. Figure out a plan that's good for you. So if that's, as soon as I get home, instead of playing Fortnite or watching TV, I'm just gonna do my homework. For some people that doesn't work. I have a lot of friends who do whatever they want when they get home, but then they go to bed early and wake up and do homework before class. So just be aware of your own habits and your own study skills to figure out what is the best time for you to do homework and not procrastinate, because this is the easiest that school is ever going to be for you. It's so depressing, but it just gets harder from here. Now I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the color Toffee Caramel. This is not my skin shade. However, I use this for contour because it works well. So my third tip is don't forget mental health. I basically didn't know how to handle myself when I was feeling overwhelmed and just so full of negativity. And that started bleeding out into my relationships with people. Yes, you're going to be overwhelmed with studying. Yes, you're going to be overwhelmed with boy problems and girl problems and friendship issues. There's so much to think about. But please, please keep in mind that your mental health is so, so important. And being healthy and positive is going to change how you feel, like physically and mentally, so much. Just always be mindful about what you need. Figure out your ways of coping. For me, it's writing stuff down and talking it out with friends. Right now, I'm just going in with the Laura Mercier setting powder. This stuff makes me look like Flashback Mary every time I use it. Hi, sisters! But am I gonna stop using it? No. My fourth tip is be kind to everyone. Again, all of these tips sound super vague and dumb, and you're probably like, wow, every YouTuber live has told me this. Well, listen here. You're probably right. But anything I can say or do to help those of you who are just starting out a very stressful time in your life, great. So now I'm gonna go in with the LA Colors eyeshadow palette. It's like 20 years old, and I just like it because it has warm colors. I'm gonna go in with this lightest orange shade here. As you can see, this palette's really gross and dirty, but do I care? No. So tip 4, be nice to everyone. That should already be a no-brainer, but for a couple reasons you should be nice to everyone. First of all, I know that everyone wants to be friends forever with their best friends. And for some people that's true. For a lot of people it's not. For me, it wasn't. And that's okay. Because remember, everyone has a path in life, everyone has a journey that they're taking. And just because you're not a part of that journey doesn't make them bad or fake friends or anything like that. It's kind of just how life goes. You don't know who your friends are gonna be in high school, if that makes sense. You don't know what kind of hearts they have. They could be super nice to you for a week and then drop you the next week. You don't know that your friends are always gonna be your friends. And that sounds so cynical. I'm sorry for that. You need to keep in mind that if they make you feel bad about yourself and they don't lift you up and you feel worse off by being friends with them, then they're not good friends for you. They might be good friends for someone else, but not you. You are valuable, you are loved, and if someone makes you feel like less of a human being, you don't need to be friends with them. And the way that this relates to being kind to everyone is that if you feel like your friend group is not for you, they just make you feel worse about yourself, you need to have someone to go to, if that makes sense. I don't want people to go into high school and feel like they need to stick with their friend group who makes them feel bad just because they wouldn't have any other friends otherwise. Oh, I forgot to say, I went in with this slightly darker purple. I went in with this slightly darker orange shade. And then just to deepen the crease, I'm gonna take this sort of like reddish plum color you see over here and just pop that in the crease. Before I do that, I'm just gonna blend out the edges because like, I'm a beauty guru basically. So make those connections, be friends with everyone. So if you feel like you need a change, you need better people in your life, you can do that. Okay, now I'm just taking that red color and popping that in the crease here. My sophomore year, I didn't have a set group of friends to like go to movies with, go bowling with, have parties and sleepovers with, but I had lots of people that built me up and that I could have positive interactions with, and that's what I needed at that time. There is no right way to have friends in high school. All right, now I'm just going to be taking this dark brown color right here and just doing the slightest little pop in the crease just to darken it up a little bit more. I'm going to take my brush and just swipe off that bake. Then I'm just going to take this butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. This stuff smells like coconuts and it is possibly the best smell I've ever smelt in my whole life. So I'm just gonna go back in with that Laura Mercier powder and pop a little bit of it right on my right underneath my cheekbone here. I'm gonna start with this orange shade and just pop that right underneath. And then I'm gonna go in with that red shade again and just pop it in this outer corner underneath. I'm just going to wipe this bake off now. And then I'm gonna go in with just regular powder. I have something called Max Factor Cream Puff Press Powder. My 5th tip is to get involved. Again, it's one of those things that everyone's gonna tell you, but it's true, and I'll explain why. So when I went to high school in Wisconsin, I was part of this extracurricular called forensics. Basically, it is public speaking as a sport, if that makes sense. I was okay at forensics. I definitely wasn't the best, but I wasn't bad. For me, that didn't really matter. It was more of the community that I was in, because I was surrounded by people who supported me, and that was a really positive experience for me. So especially if you're just starting high school and you don't know anyone, getting involved is such an easy way to meet people. I will be the first person to admit that it's hard to just walk up and be like, hi, like, I'm Grace, how are you doing? We should hang out, let's be friends. So if you're involved in an extracurricular, it makes it 100 billion times easier to meet people and to talk to them. I'm just gonna be going in with this regular eyeliner pencil, nothing special. I'm just popping that into the waterline to define my eyes a little bit more. So I'm gonna be using this just regular kohl and taking a angled brush. So figure out what you enjoy, or just find something with interesting people and join that. Clubs take up a lot less time than sports usually, so for someone who's already busy or working a job, I definitely recommend finding something like a photography club or a film club or forensics or something like that, just to keep you involved and meeting new people. Getting involved is also really important for future connections. In Qatar, they have Model United Nations. A lot of places in the US do that too. My high school didn't, and I am so sad that I didn't get involved earlier. MUN is such a good way to gain connections, especially if you're looking to do international relations or economy or anything in that field. Do Model United Nations. This is something I wish I would have gotten involved in from the very start. I have a friend who has been doing Model United Nations for so many years, and the amount of incredible connections she's made makes me so jealous. So this is an opportunity I wish I would have had from the beginning. Get involved. It's so important. It's super basic, but do it. Now I'm just gonna be taking my Wet n Wild blush. I know, I'm on a budget. I'm now gonna take my Wet n Wild setting spray and set my face. Tip number 6 is to love yourself. Everyone watching this is cringing, but it's something that I learned way too late in my life, and I wish I had someone to tell me this earlier on. When I moved countries to an international high school in Qatar, it was one of the most confusing times of my life. I was faced with a lot of new people, new ideas, new and challenging things. I think I sort of lost myself in grade 11 because I was under so much pressure to impress these new people, even though they were like just as weird as I was. So I began to feel super invalidated, and that's not the faults of my friends, 100%. That was me not understanding myself. I just felt like I needed to act a certain way and change for other people. I was at a really confusing time, and I hadn't quite developed those coping skills and mechanisms that a lot of people have, so they can deal with really confusing and stressful times. My regret is that I didn't take the time to focus on myself. This is sort of throwing it back to tip 3 to focus on mental health, but more so, I wish I would have taken the time to really get a sense of who I am before I changed myself for all these other people who weren't even asking me to change my personality anyways. I think this video is a lot of me rambling and doing really mediocre makeup, but I hope someone out there likes this content because I'm full of this type of content. Okay, so now I'm just gonna curl my lashes. I will never get over how eyelash curlers look so much like torture devices. Like, tell me this doesn't freak you out. It freaks me out, and like, I've done it almost every day for like 4 years, so I'm just gonna be going in with the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. Alright, so only thing left is lips. I'm just gonna go in with this Jordana Modern Matte Lipstick on the outer edge, and then I'm going to go in with a liquid matte lipstick on the inside. So clearly I don't have a big audience. I think I literally have like 5 subscribers. But if there is someone out there who has just started high school or is in their sophomore year, whatever year of high school, and you just happen to stumble upon this video and you want to know more or you need someone to talk to, my Instagram is right here. You're welcome to DM me if you have any questions or you just need someone to talk to. I do not claim to be a counselor, but I do have some experience surviving high school. So we're just gonna take the setting spray one more time all over the face. Look at that glow. I'm here for it. So just remember, if you're entering high school, don't be afraid. Life is not a totem pole. Don't procrastinate. Those are bad habits, sis. Don't forget mental health. Be kind to everyone for so many reasons. Get involved. Even if you don't like the club you're joining, go to meet new people. Go to make connections. And the last one, love yourself. It's confusing, I know, but if you follow these tips, you will probably have a shitty high school experience because high school sucks. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm just kidding. No, don't listen to me. I hope these tips help. These are just things I wish I would have known. Comment if you have something to say or any more tips and advice for people watching this video. Make sure to subscribe and share this video to someone who's just entering high school or you think could use this. Let me know if there's any more high school themed videos that you guys want to see. I'm open to doing basically anything because I have no original ideas or content. Thank you so much for watching if you're still here. The next video I'm uploading will be me moving into college, so stay tuned. Again, subscribe if you want to see that. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for watching and goodbye.